I'm Mary Gonzales. I live in Chicago, Illinois. I'm the eldest of 11. Little brother, who was number 6, was stricken with spinal meningitis as an infant. So he survived, but he was left severely brain damaged, epileptic, and with some paralysis in his body. So by the time he was a teenager, it was imperative that we do something. And the laws were changing in America. A law was passed in 1968 permitting community-based programs to be created, publicly funded, so that someone would not have to be institutionalized. So I began with my mother in 1969 to try to figure out how to do that. I am immediately identified as someone who should be serving on the Governor's Planning Council for Developmental Disabilities. If I get on the Governor's Planning Council, I can plan my brother's life. He will live a rich life and have all the services he needs. And so I, of course, said yes. Well, within a year, I understood that the Governor's Planning Council also had money, and they had money for new initiatives in the state for serving people with disabilities. And I thought, well, there's not one initiative in the state serving Spanish-speaking people. I'm going to apply, and I'm going to create a program for my brother. And I knew I was a shoo-in. I knew everyone in the committee. They knew me. They knew my community. They knew how desperately we needed services. And so I applied. I did not get the grant. I asked why, and they said, so little money, so many requests. And bad news, didn't get funded. And we need that $50,000. We can't get started without someone said, let's us raise it. We can raise it. I can do a cookie sale, a big sale. And then pretty soon other people started saying, and I could do a raffle, and I could ask my church. And there was a young man sitting in the room at another place, and he could hear us, and he walked over. He was an organizer. What are you guys doing? So we explained all the tragedy that we were not going to get funded. Well, how much would the state of Illinois save if you had a community-based program and they would not have to institutionalize the person, but the person could live at home and go to this community-based program? I said, I have no idea. He said, well, I don't know. Would it be $35,000? Would it be $40,000? And I said, I have no idea. So why do you think they didn't fund you? I said, well, they told me, too many projects, not enough money. And he said, what are you going to do about it? I said, I can't do anything about it. What do you suggest I do about it? And he said, kick their ass. And I got very offended, and it's the first agitation in my life. He said to me, it's amazing that you get offended by my language, but not by the fact that the state of Illinois doesn't want to provide your brother any services. And I felt like somebody had stabbed me in the chest when he said that to me. And I said, I don't know how to do it. And he said, I will teach you. And so 2 weeks later, I had 4 busloads of people at the State of Illinois building. We took over the building, and they got the director on the phone long distance with me in Rome. And he said, Mary, what's the problem? And I told him, and he said, I told you, too many proposals, not enough money. And I said, you have 24 hours to get $50,000, and if you don't do it, I'll be back with double the numbers. And this young organizer was sitting right here next to me, just whispering to me what to say. And so, sure enough, that afternoon, I had $50,000. And the next day, I sent my treasurer in, and the man said to me, this takes 6 to 8 weeks to process. I said, my treasurer will be there at 10 a.m. He's not leaving without a check. And the next day, I had a check. So what I did is, number 1, I resigned from that Governor's Planning Council instantly. Number 2, I entered organizing. And number 3, I married that young man. And he's currently my husband. So it was a great outcome, right? A phenomenal outcome of that little campaign.